Jr., it offends me when people say this was a black movement. This is an American movement. What did Dr. King say? I'm here to redeem the souls of America from the triple evils of war, racism, and poverty. More so, we're here to redeem America and have her fulfill her legacy. He was trying to get everybody to row the boat of prosperity in the right direction so we can prosper. Let's now go beyond King. March 3rd, 1865. What happened then? Right before that, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Everybody knows that. Here's what they don't know. Right after that, he signed the Freedmen's Bureau Act, which created the Freedmen's Bank.
Right.
March 3rd, 1865. The Freedmen's Bank the mission was to teach freed slaves about money. So Lincoln thought the most important thing he could do after giving freed slaves emancipation, physical freedom, was to teach them about the free enterprise system. A general of Lincoln, I'm not boring you, am I?
Keep going.
I'll be finished in a minute. A general of Lincoln promised every free slave 40 acres and a mule. It's connected. King was a radical. Abraham Lincoln was a radical. Abraham Lincoln believed if he could give free slaves freedom, 40 acres and a mule, which is land and collateral property,
right,
teach them the language of money, how the free enterprise system works, and give them access to capital,
right,
they take off like a rocket and start participating in the system called ownership.
Right. But
Lincoln was killed 2 weeks after he signed the law.
Thank you. And
probably the worst president in American history took over after him. His name was Andrew Johnson.
keep going.
Andrew Johnson, not important to give a long history lesson, but basically he said to the Southern governors, I can't reverse all that Lincoln did, but I can ignore it. If you want to know where black codes came from, and Jim Crow laws, that's where it came from.
Come on.
He just ignored it for 100 years, and the South created laws in direct conflict with the federal law.
Thank
now,
you.
let me now bring this
Keep
home.
going.
Lincoln didn't put this bank in Virginia. He didn't put it in Maryland. He didn't put it across town in Washington, D.C. Washington is all proximity to power. Lincoln put the bank, Treasury Department here, Department of War here. It's now the old Executive Office building. Lincoln lived in the White House. Above was the residence where he lived. He put it across the street, catty corner from the Treasury Department in what's now Bank of America. You go to Washington now, you'll see it. He put it so he could see it every night to make sure that people were working and the candles were burning. He was serious about this. The bank was so important to the country that Frederick Douglass, as the bank was failing, with a pristine reputation, think Colin Powell today, stepped into the bank as it was failing with 70,000 black sharecroppers as depositors to try to save it. He knew it was going to go down. It failed on his watch, and he said the failure of the Freedmen's Bank did more to set freed slaves back than 10 more years of slavery. All this lost to history. And like that, we went from 1865 to 1965. And then you've got a prophet that enters the stage in like 1956, 1957. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You got this guy who comes with him you just saw on the stage in the video, Ambassador Andrew Young. You have this movement that we know so little about. We rack it up to I Have a Dream. But the March of Jobs and Freedom was a march on jobs and freedom. It was an economic march, too. I'm almost done. Are we okay?
Yes, sir. Tell the truth.
I'm bringing it home.
Tell the truth.
Marion White Edelman, who founded the Children's Defense Fund, whispered into the ear of Dr. King, women always saving us, Dr. King, the next movement's about money.
Right.
He teed up the Poor People's Campaign, which is about all races of people.
Right.
He already had an economic experience because Andrew Young, Ambassador Andrew Young, he never let him get arrested, not once, because he said Andy is what I call him Ambassador Andrew Young, he call him Andy. Andy, I can't have you arrested. You're too important to me. I need you negotiating with the business people. Hold on. 80% of all customers in those southern towns were black consumers. So when they shut down the bus boycott The bus company went bankrupt in 9 months without black riders.
Right.
The note came up. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. What got integrated in the South? Was it government offices? Was it universities? Public institutions?
Stores.
Woolworths?
Stores.
Grocery stores? Department stores?
Right.
You with me?
Numbers.
Private enterprise.
Right.
Andrew Young would go quietly behind closed doors after several weeks of marching. And Dr. King would say effectively this: talk without being offensive, listen without being defensive, but always leave even your adversary with their dignity.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Because if you don't, they'll spend the rest of their life trying to make you miserable.
Right.
Give them a gracious way out. Negotiate behind closed doors. Their pockets are hurting. Give them a gracious way to return their consumers into their business. Just ask them to take down the stupid white-only sign. That's what they did. Now, we beat up the private enterprise when they do wrong. We should give them credit when they do it right. This is a story that's never been told. Ambassador Andrew Young was an equal partner in this movement. He just negotiated quietly behind closed doors while Dr. King electrified the world. Dr. King was a strategist of unparalleled brilliance. Now I'm going to connect Lincoln now to King, and I'm done. Dr. King gets killed 2 weeks before his first march on Washington for the Poor People's Campaign. Never made it to Washington for the first march. The movement effectively died. But Dr. King had a partner. His name was Martin Luther King Sr. They were co-pastors at Ebenezer Church. You tell me when I get this wrong. Daddy King was a pastor, but he was also a businessman. Daddy King served on the board of a bank for 40 years, and nobody knows it. Citizens Trust Bank. How could Dr. King get a PhD in 1956 and 57? Because Daddy King paid for it.
Thank you.
How does Dr. King live in a German neighborhood in the 1960s? Because Daddy King was balling. How did Dr. King effectively work for free? Because Dr. King, Daddy King, helped finance his lifestyle and bailed him out of jail.
Thank you.
They didn't want a handout, they wanted a hand up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a new movement. It's not a new conversation. It's the completion of a discussion that never got started in the first place.
Thank you.
Project 5117 is nothing short of delivering a memo. It's a memo you never got. It's not like somebody's used free enterprise and capitalism to solve poverty and it failed. It's never been tried. We've been selling wolf tickets. We've been sold wolf tickets about what the problem is and how to solve it. Our so-called leaders are in the what I'm against business. But you only win when you're in the what you're for business. So we're going to figure out what we're for. And we're going to start with 5 million kids to make smart cool so kids want to stay in school. Nobody says, ooh, give me a mortgage. Ooh, I can't wait to get a subprime 20% interest mortgage. Woo, hey. No, you want to become a homeowner. Maybe too much, but it's aspiration. Nobody said, her dad didn't say, I have a dream that GDP will grow by 2% a year. That's not exciting. Nobody said, doesn't keep me to shut up. Nobody wants a car loan. Who in here wants, oh, I can't wait to get an 18% car loan. You want the car. Yeah. Kids don't want an education. They may want it, but they don't dream about it. They want to be successful. They want a job. They want opportunity. 5 million kids, that's right, I'm going to talk right through it. 5 million kids from Make Smart Schools who kids want to stay in school. 1 million kids go through Hope Business and Box Academy, creating entrepreneurs, small business owners, and self-employment projects to create jobs right in our own community. Can't get a job? Create a job.
Amen.
The guy who made the suit that I'm wearing, we put in business, gave him a $35,000 loan, he's doing $1 million a year in revenue. He couldn't get hired to be a designer, but now he's his own designer. Amen?
Right.
I want to thank SunTrust and Wells Fargo and State Farm and LPL Financial and all the heroes and sheroes and Regions Bank and others who made this possible. I can't do this by myself. There's 100,000 bank branches across America looking for a home, looking for something else to do because a new bank branch is your cell phone.
True.
And I don't know about you, but I want to turn rainbows out of storms. I want to help them make those bank branches resilient and enterprising and thriving again.
Okay.
So we're going to bring banking back to community. We're going to put our services inside of our Hope inside of a bank branch. HUD-approved mortgage counseling.